guys. Welcome to another episode of Mommy Needs a Break. It is a podcast for new moms who don't have it together because guess what? We don't have it all together, and that's okay because our kids are fine and they're flourishing and they're amazing. I'm one of your hosts, Megan Thomas at Meg Scoop everywhere.
And I'm Marisa Johnson, and she is Marisa J. Make sure to follow Mommy Needs a Break on all platforms at MNAB Podcast, MNAB Podcast. Still a tongue twister. And make sure to follow our Patreon. Go to our website, mnabpodcast.com, and be a Patreon for as low as $3. But of course, you can give us how many dollars you want. It doesn't matter to us. Just join and support. Join and support.
Yes. Now, on today's episode, we got to do a couple things a little different, y'all, because we had some technical difficulties. But we have Raquel Horn, who is coming up in the show later in the show, and we'll tell you all about her. But first, it's time for Ain't No Shame.
Ain't no
you like
shame.
that, Marisa? You like that? Today, Ain't No Shame comes from me. It ain't no shame in allowing your child to pamper you, no matter what age they are. It might sound like child labor. It sounds a little like child labor, but you know what? I guess when they're your kids, you're allowed to do that. So for Mother's Day, I was kind of like laying around, just enjoying my time to myself. And my son, he's always coming up, bothering me, asking me for stuff. So I was like, you know what? Since you want to come up here and bother me, how about you help mommy out? Why don't you come on back here and let's play doctor on mommy's back, okay? So first I need you to chop mommy's back like this. Chop it like this, okay? Get in there. So he was chopping it, girl. I was like, up here, down. Like I was making him do all of that. And then I was just like, okay, now use your elbow. Where's your elbow? And I go like this on mommy's back. So then I have him like using his elbow, like just hitting all my pressure
Asian
points
massage.
In the back. Yes, girl. I was like, use your Asianness, use your quarter Asian blood, and get in here and give me this Asian massage. And then I made the mistake of letting him walk on my back because I was like, well, you know what? You're the right little. You like 35 pounds. That's enough. That's like a good weight. You can just walk your little feet on my back. So he was doing good, and then until he decided to like jump on my back, and I was like, you know what? That's what I get.
Ooh.
That is what I get for time for this free child labor that I'm getting pampered. And like, never mind, massage over. But ain't no shame. Ain't no shame in that.
Ain't no shame.
All right, y'all. So today's episode, we're talking about how to get your newborn potty trained. It is absolutely 100% possible. We're talking about in vitro fertilization. We're talking about infertility with a wonderful, wonderful guest. Now, y'all, usually you see our guests on with us when I intro them. However, we have some technical difficulties, okay? This ain't our first intro today. It's the second one we've done, so bear with us. Our guest is an entrepreneur. She is a producer. She's the creative director of Poppington. She's a vegan, and she's the fiancee of hip-hop mogul Damon Dash and a new mama of 6-month-old baby Dusko. Y'all give it up for Raquel Horn right here. Okay, well, congratulations, Raquel, on you having a baby boy who is beautiful with his big old blue-green hazel eyes that I would definitely get lost in. He is so cute.
Thank you.
So I know your journey to motherhood took 7 years. Talk to us about what prompted you to go, okay, now I'm going to try IVF. I'm going to try in vitro fertilization, and kind of what were the steps before that, leading up to that?
Tried the old-fashioned way, and it wasn't working out. And then I decided after about a year or 2 years, I decided to go talk to my OB about getting pregnant. And she said, she asked how long I had been trying. And for under 35, after a year of trying, you kind of get an infertile stamp. And they put you on this drug called Clomid. And granted, I guess you could ask for the drug earlier, but Clomid, what it makes you do is it makes you ovulate a lot of eggs at the time. So when you have your period, just like it's like a burst. And I swear I would feel my ovulation when it happened, because it was a lot of eggs. Ooh. And the drug is kind of intense. Okay. But then And then I tried that 3 times and it did not work. And you can't use Clomid that many times because it actually will deteriorate your uterus. So after that,
Oh wow.
then she had the talk with me of now you really have to go see an infertility specialist. And I had already looked
Okay.
into one at, it's called SCRC, it's Southern California Reproductive Medicine. And I had picked Dr. Carolyn Alexander to speak with. And because she had a specialty in endometriosis. And I thought maybe I had endometriosis and that's why I wasn't getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out I didn't have that, but she was still an amazing doctor. And I went the next step, which was IUIs. Oh, I missed a whole point of my time. So after I did Clomid, I was like, I'm going to get this baby. So I'm going to go back to doing more holistic stuff. And I went through like months and months of acupuncture, like, like just trying herbal teas, trying different tinctures, trying like every kind of like thing I could do to do this, and nothing happened. So I finally went to the fertility doctor, Carolyn Alexander, and we had the conversation, and she said the next thing we're going to do is called an IUI, and what we do is Damon has to go in the back room and give us a sample, and you have to take this series of shots leading up to your ovulation day. And on your ovulation day, you come in and we inject the sperm pretty much right next to your fallopian tubes. And those drugs that I had
Wow.
taken, made me ovulate more eggs so that hopefully it's kind of shortcutting the sperm. So you kind of like take away them going through the whole uterus part and just put them right next to the tubes so that hopefully at the time what the shots do, they kind of trigger it so that hopefully your egg is almost at the way out of the tube by the time they put the sperms right next to it. I technically say it's like they take a turkey baster of sperm and put it right next to the tube so that
Oh yeah.
hopefully they connect. Nothing connected, but with IUIs, technically it's 35% an increase in getting pregnant. But also there's a big chance for multiples in IUIs because you're releasing multiple eggs and there's so many sperm coming in. So you have a bigger chance of having multiples at the time. It's hard to regulate. So after that we did that 3 rounds. After that didn't happen, I did IVF. And to lead up to IVF, you have to get your eggs retrieved. So that's more shots, more needles. So you gotta, and by the time, so your ovaries are like grapes, right? I always say this. And by the time they go in for an egg retrieval, your ovaries are the size of potatoes. They're huge. So you look like you're 4 months pregnant.
Oh wow.
Because your stomach is so swollen. And so you go in and they completely put you under, and then they pick the little eggs out. I had 14 eggs removed, and then from those 14, I only had I think it was maybe 13 were viable. One was like way too small, so they had to get rid of that one. Then from those 13, I think only 7 really made it into the blastocyst cycle that had so really took to the sperm. From those 7, only 5 were accepted as good quality to genetic testing. And from genetic testing, only 2 came out as A quality. So it's kind of crazy. So it's like
wow.
14.
This is
fascinating.
This is very fascinating.
And then from those 2, I got 1 baby. So it's like it's nuts. I still have the others frozen, but they're not like of A quality. So A quality, they rate the eggs A, B, and C quality. A being the best, B and C being lower grade. Might not have anything to do with how the baby. It's just what the shape of the embryo looks like at the time of testing.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I want to get into with my doctor and learn, because like there's a whole thing on like how they pick the sperms that they pick, and like there's different processes. So like you can have the doctor like put the sperm next to the egg and like let the sperm put itself in the egg, or you can just have the doctor do it. And I was like, let's not take any chances. Like, can you just let's put the
Yeah.
sperm inside the egg? Let's see if that takes. So my doctor really helped create
Yeah.
Baby Desco. She picked that brilliant sperm to go in there.
Wow.
It was nuts.
I mean, yes, he definitely is grade A. Okay,
Yeah.
the baby, he can go to the bathroom by himself. Okay, he's grade A.
Yes. So yes, that is in a small nutshell how we got to IVF. And then, the first time I had put the first embryo in the little girl in 2019, and then she didn't make it. We lost her at 7.5 months, but then I took a break. We went to Hawaii. Damon got me a car. That helped. And we had to try again. And I was lucky. I implanted the second embryo the week before COVID happened. And if I would have waited any
Oh,
more
wow.
time, I would have been out of luck, because they actually shut down reproductive medicine for anyone that wasn't a cancer patient because of COVID. So I was
Wow.
just so grateful that Damon had pushed me to implant that baby, because I would have been sitting at home during COVID, so mad at myself and still so upset. Like
Yeah.
the main thing that got me through everything and getting me over through the grief was having another baby, being pregnant again. I love being pregnant. It's a lot of fun.
You know what? I had a fun pregnancy too. I always say that. Like my fiance thinks I'm crazy because I was like, yeah, I'd be a surrogate for somebody. Okay. Like I had a great pregnancy. You know, I liked being pampered. I liked to like go and I was actually like, I don't recommend this, but if there was a long line, I'd be like, excuse me. Can I get in front of you?
Totally.
You would be
You get
like, yeah.
everything when you're pregnant. Everybody opens the door for you. Everybody is pampering you.
Yes.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I love being pregnant.
What a great story. He's going to have a great story to hear when he
Yep.
gets older, over and over and over again. It's like this little miracle baby. Literally. He's a miracle.
It's awesome. And you know what's crazy is that like 1 in 8 women suffer from infertility, and only 2% of babies, less than 2% of the babies in the world are born from IVF. So that's like a lot.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of women that are going through it.
I wanted to go back when you said you lost your first baby at, you said 7 months? I have a lot of friends who have been experiencing this, and it's so hard on being on the other side of trying to comfort and, like be a support and not overstep and, give them their space. Like, how did you, deal with that emotionally, and how were you able to heal, from that?
So when it first happened, I had Damon take my phone. I just didn't want to even be reminded. And he's really good about, he lost 2 people when he was really young. He lost his mother and he lost Aaliyah. So he was, my best partner in removing the triggers from my life. So removing things that would kind of like trigger me to be upset. He knew how to do that. So he asked me, he's like, would you like me to take your phone? And I was like, yes. And from that, he deleted all the baby apps. He removed all of, I had a baby shower on television for growing up hip hop. So like my garage was full of baby stuff, presents. He like hid all of those. He took away all the baby stuff from the room. He just eliminated all my triggers, so that when I did feel like coming out, I wouldn't be constantly reminded of her. And it took me a second to kind of like respond. And because he had my phone, he was able to answer those texts to people like for me, because I couldn't. It would be like people would say they were sorry, and it would just make me start crying, and I couldn't. And I know that they were just trying to be helpful, but it would just it was just hard emotionally for me because I would start thinking about her. And so, but it took me about 2 weeks to kind of just, I took 2 weeks to just be sad. And after that, I didn't want to be sad anymore. I kind of wanted to figure out how to get better and how to function. And we had planned our baby moon. We had to go to Hawaii, and we had canceled it because I think we got sick. We got like there was like a light, not COVID, but there was like a light cold going around, and I didn't want to travel. And so we canceled it. So everything kind of was already in place. So we just kind of pressed the trigger on that vacation, and we went for Christmas, and that helped because I wasn't in my environment. I had to kind of remove myself from my environment and kind of had to adapt to a whole new place. When I got to I was being so spoiled, but when we got there went to Hawaii, but it's like, I'm like sad, and all of a sudden we go to a place that's got no air conditioning. You're like literally off the beaten road. We rented this small house like on the beach. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But I like never in my mind would have thought, oh, this house doesn't have air conditioning. Like I'm coming from LA. Like I'm like, everything has air conditioning. Like what the hell? So I'm like hot. Then we get there and the hot water is out. And I had just come from a flight. I was like, oh my God. I just started crying. And I was like, I just want to go home. But like once I got over it, and then a tropical storm hit that night. So it was like the power went out. And so we were just sitting there, and we had to kind of just we just had to go out and sit on the beach and just relax. And the roads were shut down because of the flood. So like the bridge was closed. So we couldn't leave regardless if I wanted to. So it was almost like God's way of shutting us into this location, being like, you're going to sit here and you're going to enjoy this because this is what you need in your life.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing for me. Absolutely. And it took a couple days to unwind. To kind of like totally disconnect from everything and just learn how to relax. Damon and I had never taken a vacation together. So it was really, really nice. And at first you feel guilty of just sitting on the beach and doing nothing, not having cell phone service or like charging your phone because your phone's dead because there's no power, but it was great. It was great.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
I know that sounds so healing too, especially, with what you had gone through. Sometimes you just have to disconnect and really heal. Well, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So that's one thing I want to ask you. How do you do self-care? What are some things that you do?
For me, self-care, I think, Damon and I like to talk about a lot. We talk a lot about what we're thankful for and what we're grateful for. And like every day we kind of like recap on like how amazing our day was and how blessed we are to have certain things. And I think that kind of makes you feel good. Like this morning we had breakfast and we talked about how amazing our day was yesterday and like all the little things that like Dusko was doing. I'm getting teary eyed thinking about it right now. Like he's starting to sit up like unassisted right now. So I swear in like by the end of next week, he's completely going to be sitting up on his own, but he's like he's almost there. It's like right at that verge where he's going to be sitting up. I had to change his stroller from the bassinet to the sit up one. And,
the sit up one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like he's kind of just going through like a developmental spike right now. So we were kind of just like thinking about that. And we were in the pool yesterday and it was like really cute because he was like hugging both of us at the same time. And it was really special. And we were just talking about how lucky we were to have these
those moments.
Yeah.
I love those moments, when you can just sit and reflect and then have your kids kind of watch you two getting along. Like the joy it brings to our kids, like watching us hug or watching us have a conversation, they pick that up.
Yes,
they do.
So those moments are priceless. I love it.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit in the beginning about the potty training.
Okay. Yes.
So can you get into it a little bit more? Just like, what was that process? Basically, how do we do this?
Okay.
Yes, because wait, especially because you just said that he's not sitting up yet. I'm like, wait, so
Right.
he's
Oh,
on
yeah.
a potty and
I'm
he's not even
holding
like.
him. I'm
Okay.
holding
Okay, yes.
him. It's a whole thing.
Explain
Okay,
this.
so like breastfeeding is a commitment, a full-time commitment. Potty training is a full-time, it's a full-time job as well. So you learn their cues.
Yeah.
So when the baby's pooping since the beginning, at least Dusko was very vocal when he was pooping. Very vocal. It's like,
Right.
loud grunts instantly. So now we know he kind of gives us a couple warning grunts, and we take him to the potty and we get him on right then. And that's the easiest. And then we also, just the easiest things is like, normally when you have a normal cycle, you kind of go to the bathroom first thing in the morning. So as soon as he wakes up, I like to put him right on the potty, and he'll do like a nice good pee. And if he's pretty regular, he will take a stink, big poop right then. If
In the
not,
morning?
in the morning. And if
Okay.
not, we have to listen to, then we're on high alert for the rest of the day for the poop cues throughout the day. But and then it's like when he wakes up from a nap, we put him on the potty, and after he eats, we put him on the potty. So and then like before he goes to bed, we put him on the potty. And I just kind of keep that regular cycle. How what?
I was gonna say, how long do you sit him there?
In the morning, I sit him up to, sometimes it can be up to 10 minutes if he's not going. So sometimes, like I usually bring a book.
Okay.
And we read and we play with toys. They don't fall in the toilet. And we what else do? We we look in the mirror, we sing, and I try and hold him there for 10 minutes in the morning. And then sometimes he'll go right away and sometimes he won't. But there have definitely been times where I'm like, I'm waiting and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take him off. And I'm like, no, I got to do that. And if the fact that I waited that extra 30 seconds, he takes that poop. And I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't take him off because, I'm glad I stuck to it.
I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this because I remember Megan with my first daughter. Megan told me about this and I thought she was crazy.
Right.
But my second daughter, literally, if I say, "Do you have pee-pee?" and she's like, "Yeah," and she could rip off her diaper now. She's only one. She could rip off her diaper. She points to the pee-pee. I said, "Do you have to go to the bathroom?" And she walks to our bathroom and tries to open the door. So in my mind, I was like, I'm being lazy, or no, she's only one. There's no way she knows what I'm talking about, but she knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. And
so I'm gonna have to do this.
At that age, it's even easier because they can walk to the toilet. So you have these little potties, and they have I think a Bjorn makes a cuter potty that it's better for girls because it has like a cute little backrest, and you put it in their playroom, and they'll literally take their pants off and sit on it once they have to go because it's tiny. It's so tiny. And they have these really cute underwear once they get Dusko wears cloth diapers during the day, but you can get to panties for your daughter. They have little tiny tiny panties.
Oh, and speaking of the panties, so she sees her big sister put the panties on, and so she's screaming, crying for the panties.
Yes.
So I have to put the panties over her diaper for her to just be like, I got panties on, but she knows this. I'm like, you are so smart.
Yeah.
So it's called Tiny Undies, and it's a whole thing with the elimination communication. So most of, my friend's daughter, who's 9 months now, she wears tiny undies all day. Holds her pees and poops. If it's super emergency.
Wow.
I think the nighttime is pretty hard on kids just because they're sleeping.
That's a long time.
But
my kids have major poops too. I couldn't even imagine.
So I would try.
They are vegan, so they have the real poop.
Oh yeah, you're vegan
poop.
They got vegan poop. Yeah, yeah. We'll ask you about that. We got a question for you.
Okay.
So let's switch gears because you're more than a mom. Most of us are. Most of us juggle so many hats in our life. So you and Damon are both business partners.
Mhm.
How do you guys manage, working together, your relationship? Because many of us, we're taking on that task of working with our partners, and it can be a task at times. So how do you
Yeah.
do it?
Yeah.
Um, well, you try and make everything a date. That's what it's Damon's line.
Hmm.
So, well, when
Oh, that's a good one.
pre-COVID, we would go out. We have to go to a business meeting. It's a date. If we go, every time that we're together, it's a date. We take time for
Hmm.
ourselves. Like it was in the middle of our workday yesterday, but we decided to go into the pool and enjoy that for a few minutes and then get back. And we both have our things that we are working towards, but our main objective, we have the same goal. So we're working towards getting that same goal.
Yeah.
And that's what helps and what
Yeah.
drives us. Because as much as we want to be upset at each other, if we want to, we're working towards the same thing. And our goals align. So you can't stay upset for very long. And if we're just upset, you're over it. I mean, there's no benefit in it in the long
Right.
run to like be fighting over it. So I think
Yeah.
that's what kind of gets us through.
I mean, do you ever just shut it off? Like, it's like, no, we're not talking about business right now on this date. Because that's what I have trouble with. It's like sometimes I just want to be on a date and I don't want to
Right.
talk about
Yeah.
business. It's like, I don't talk to me about this. Talk to me about like what your favorite, I don't know,
What's
food
your
is
favorite?
today.
He definitely he's better at it than me. Like because um I have the fun job of dealing with like bills and stuff like that. So I'll constantly try and talk to him about it. He's like, "No, we are working out right now. We can't talk about this. You have to leave." And I usually end up getting kicked out of the room more than him. But and then dinner time, we have to like no phones, nothing like that when we're sitting at the table. So we definitely have our moments where it's like
Yeah.
where we try not to talk about certain things at times, but only if it's like dire importance do break those things. So I guess we kind of have rules in the sense like working out, we're not allowed to talk about it. I'm not allowed to talk about fitness. How about that? I'm not allowed to talk because mine is usually the bad stuff. And then, when we are being creative, we try not to bust each other's bubbles. So it's like you don't want to say the negative in the moment. So you want
How?
I know, right?
I was about to say
I'm
yes.
a
This is a good
worrier.
one. What's a good
I'm like,
way?
how is that possible?
How?
Yeah. I that comes with constant reminders, and it's like, a warning. I have to ask for the warning. Like I don't mean to be the negative Nancy, but how is this happening? Like I ask for if I'm being negative to tell me so that I can stop because I don't know how I'm doing it in the moment. So we have conversations like that.
Yeah, that's
That
difficult.
it
Mhm.
is very difficult. I was gonna say because I know, like, so my fiance and I we've just bought a house and now we're renovating. We have 3 weeks to renovate before we physically move in, and
3
so
weeks?
like he'll say something. 3 weeks.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
how?
well, there's a couple of things. I mean, it's like floors and like painting. It's nothing like take a wall out, nothing
Crazy.
like that.
Okay.
So it's not too bad. But
Okay.
like the one thing he said to me, which was like, why do you just like why did you immediately go there? Because my mind processes so fast. So when he says something, he's like, what about this? I'm like, no, that's ugly. Next. Like like busting his
Like,
bubble.
let's not even go on it. I love
And
it.
he's like, you didn't even like think about it. I was like, no, I can visualize it in my head. Like I can see it. I'm going fast. That's ugly. Nope. Next, move to here. And he's like, wow, did you have to be so negative? And I was like, that was negative. My bad. Like, sorry. So yeah, the fact that you say that, don't bust each other's bubble, that's very important.
Yeah.
But I think it's like the multitaskers in us because I have that
Yeah.
same issue every day. My husband's more technical. He likes to look at things from a technical point of view. And I'm just like, you don't even have to do all that. I can tell you right now, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Like, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to find the balance because if you are with someone,
Yep.
you're with them because there's something that they're better at that you're
Yeah.
not good at and vice versa. And so I
Yes.
think like we've been working together now for like 3 years and I think it's it's coming on stronger this past year because of the things we're trying to accomplish, but trying to figure out or and accept your downfalls. Like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
not good at this. Like, let
Yeah.
me let him lead. Let me
Yeah.
let him take charge on this, and I step back. I want to give an example because I think this was funny yesterday. So we had a call yesterday with the Clippers, I think it was. And we're sitting there, and any important meeting like this, partnerships, I'm like, oh no, I'm there. This is my thing. I got to do this. And my daughter started screaming and crying, and then the other one started crying. So I'm like, okay, let me just settle them down. And they didn't want me to leave. Like, no, mommy, you stay, you play. And I'm like trying to listen to the call, like, and God's like, he got it, Marisa. Do you trust that he has it? He has it. Like, play
Yeah.
with the kids. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. He needs me
Right.
there. Like,
Right.
there's no way this is gonna go through if I'm not there.
Right.
But everything was fine. I sat my ass like in the room with the kids while he took charge of the meeting. But it was like, for me, it was a control thing of like, I
Yeah.
have to be there. I have to be
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm not there. And it ended up good because he was finished with his part. He came in with the girls, like, oh, she wants to talk to you. I'm like, really? Oh, okay. So we switched off,
Oh, see, that's
but
perfect.
it's like finding this balance,
Mhm.
between
Yeah.
your partner, I feel like,
Yeah.
of what you're good at and what they're good at, and letting go of that control so
Yes.
that y'all can be bombed together,
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just want to add that
Yes.
in there.
And sharing
That's
the
very
parenting
important.
is really important too.
Yes.
That quality time too with the kids because they just want to have mom or dad there regardless.
Yeah.
And so like if you're able to both, work together and be with the kids together, it's just magical.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I can get into all that too. We just switched our schedules so that he's taking half days and I'm taking half days now. And then we're working on our
Good.
businesses because it's like we don't want to just throw him into daycare anymore and just and that be it.
And
We
miss
got to try
out
to right,
so
right.
much because
So
it
That's
goes so
good. Oh, that's
fast.
good. That's good. I was gonna oh well, first of all, Rocky, congratulations. I know you and Damon are engaged. Are you guys wedding planning yet? Or are you waiting on that?
Waiting on that. Me, I want to have like a fun party or something. So I need to get out of the whole COVID craze before that happens.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So I have been I've been engaged. How many years now? 3 years?
she said how many
It's time.
Congratulations.
years?
I know it's been so long. It's time for us to get married, but I think we've had a cross country moves. We added a baby. We had now we bought a house. So we're like so many other things working that we just kind of have pushed it off. And then COVID came, and of course that just like delayed it another year. So now I think we're like, okay, we need to just go ahead and do this. But I'm in the whole process of like, well, what does that look like? Like I want to invite people, but I don't want them to come because I don't want to have to pay for 350 people, which I feel like it's going to get that big. So it's like, now I'm like, okay, how do I just make a party in the middle of COVID or at the end of COVID, towards the end of COVID? I don't know. So I'm with you, Rocky. I'm trying to figure it all out as well.
Megan, you're in Atlanta. People have parties. People go to strip clubs. People go
Yes.
to the
Okay,
bar.
I get that.
People do everything in Atlanta.
That's true.
Right. But still, I don't want to be a part of the reason somebody gets COVID.
True.
That's all I'm saying. I don't be like, oh, I remember when I got COVID at Megan's house. Like, I don't want to do all that, guys. I feel bad about that. So yes, we'll be waiting to hear about your wedding planning. I'm sure
Yes,
it's gonna
and
be
yours too,
beautiful.
because I'll be probably right behind you. I feel like you got 3 years on me.
Megan has to do it. The
I know
pressure is on, okay? The pressure is
it's
on.
time. We got a whole house. Like, it's time. It's just
Yeah,
time.
it's really time. So I read that you're a vegan.
Mhm.
I'm a vegan too, so I love my fellow vegans and having this conversation. So, how long have you been vegan? Tell us about your vegan cooking show, Health
Um,
as Well. Break
I
it
was
down.
I became vegan around 2000. I say 4 years ago now. But I have to disclose that in my last pregnancy, I ate eggs. So I couldn't. On my first pregnancy, I didn't do anything. I was like completely vegan. But, when everything happened, I just like gave in to my, craving.
Craving.
Go
So
ahead, Mom.
anyway,
Go for it. You're
anyways,
pregnant. You got to do what you
I
got to
was gonna
do.
say let's Right.
We're back on it. We eliminated the cheese and the eggs, and it feels good. And we started, so it was an overnight change for us. We watched What the Health, and the
Yeah.
next morning I threw everything away. I just was gone.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
it was, and Damon and I were kind of in this healthy journey because we were shooting Dash Diabetes Network, and I had a cooking show on there showing everybody how to cook for as a type 3 diabetic. That's what I call myself. And taking care of a type 1 diabetic or a type 2 diabetic, you become a diabetic yourself in the sense that you're taking care of a loved one that's diabetic. So anyways, by me cooking food for him, I was showing these recipes, and then I was starting to research more, and then that movie came out, flipped my whole thing around, because like American Diabetes
Yeah.
Association, they show you eat beef, eat all this stuff, and then it comes
Eat
out.
yogurt.
Oh my God,
Yep.
that was the most traumatizing part. The yogurt part of that
Crazy.
movie
Yeah.
Yeah.
ruined my life.
Yeah.
And so changed everything overnight. We've had a lot of our friends become vegan, or just eliminate a lot of meat at the same time. What's funny is that I became vegan, and my brother also became vegan at the same time. And like, I come from South Carolina, so it's like more of a conservative household, and I was always the like hippie child who was like, artistic, did all this. But my brother was like the straight edge military kid. But so my parents could never say anything. Oh, your hippie sister is a vegan, because my military brother became vegan at the same time. So it was just amazing. My parents can't say nothing to either of us. And he's more like, him and his wife are more extreme than I am. So it's really, it's been a lot of fun, and I do enjoy it. So this season on Health is Wealth, I have vegan Hawaiian dishes because of our trip to Hawaii. So I took
Ooh.
local, kind of the local, what do you call it, comfort food, and I brought a chef back from Hawaii, and she showed me how to make this local comfort food. Um, on
Nice.
on the show. So yeah, we're sharing the recipes, and there's some amazing dishes like this vegetable heka, certain things that you get out there that is just delicious. And it has a lot of, it's very Asian inspired. All the recipes in Hawaiian dishes are very Asian. One is almost kind of
Yeah.
Spanish. It's like kind of like a melting pot. Like it was really interesting. Like when I was making the food, I was like,
Yeah.
this is like kind of like ramen, and this is something else.
Vegan is
cool.
definitely a journey.
Yeah. What
I
about
feel
you?
like Asian food and Indian food. Oh, I've been a vegan for 8 years. Eight
Nice.
years now? Yeah. And but like you said, when I was pregnant with my second child, I ate fish. And that was because the doctor told me my blood pressure was so low and the volume of my food wasn't high enough, and I was gonna close to passing out or
Oh
something.
my gosh.
So she scared me. But it was funny. As soon as I had her, like I haven't ate it since.
Yeah.
But for 8 years, and then I got married within that time, and then it was a thing where I would have to try to make meals for my husband, and then my meals,
Oh
and
my
then
gosh,
now
you're
it's
both,
at the
you guys
so now what is that?
are, guys, you weren't vegan together?
No, I was vegan before I
That's
got
so
married.
hard.
That's
And
hard.
then but now with the kids, so then when I started having kids, they're vegan, obviously. And so he would feel bad. I
Yeah.
think it's when I had my first kid, because he would be eating something and he's like, "Oh, you can't have this." And in my mind, I'm like, "Well, if she can't have it, why are you eating it?"
Right.
But I never pushed him. I never pushed
Yeah.
him. And now I want to say he's probably like 90% vegan. When
Nice.
I'm out of town, if
That's
he's
good.
at the space late, if he's
Yeah.
working late, I'll find some like wrappers in the car. But for the most part, like at home, I don't buy meat. If he buys meat, it's he went to the butcher and got two pieces of something.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, now he's vegan. Now I'm trying to transition to alkaline vegan. So I'm
Ooh.
trying to transition to
Ooh.
just like a cleaner, like natural
That's
diet.
probably
It's
better.
it's yeah, it's I'm proud all of COVID, that's when it kicked in, is like how am I going to boost our immune system? So
And
I Oh, go ahead.
Could you explain what alkaline vegan is?
Yeah, so
Oh, yes,
Alkaline
please.
Vegan, if you can look up Dr. Sabi, he is the one who introduced it to most of us in this time. But it's a certain specific food groups that he says work for our bodies that eliminate mucus. So mucus is what he says creates all diseases. It's the center of any disease that you have. So if you eliminate the mucus by
Mhm.
putting more alkaline in your body, then you'll be, disease free. So some examples of alkaline foods are for fruits is like melon,
Hmm.
berries, boro bananas. So I buy boro bananas for my kids. No starch. So we use spelt bread. We use spelt
Mhm.
bread. What else do we use? Wild rice, quinoa. That's kind of the grain side. The only beans are garbanzo. So,
Hmm.
like this morning, I woke up super early and made the kids tuna garbanzo
Oh, it's my
like
favorite.
spread. So I
Ooh.
make
Oh
it
my
out
gosh,
of
I made that.
garbanzo.
That's
Yeah,
so yummy.
and
Yes, it's so yummy.
I use hemp seeds for the mayo. Like I make a hemp seed mayo and I mix it in with
Whoa, whoa,
the
whoa!
garbanzo. Girl, if you need
Let's
someone on your cooking show for alkaline, just
Right.
call me up, okay? Because
backtrack.
I'm
I
in
need
here
to know
learning
how
these
you make
recipes.
a hemp seed mayo.
Um,
How do you make that?
I'll email you.
Amazing.
Oh,
I'll
oh,
email
yes,
you.
right now. I was
But
craving
it's
this
basically
yesterday.
okay. It's hemp seed. It's a half a cup of hemp seed,
Uh huh.
spring water. So only
Okay.
spring water. Key limes, onion powder, salt, and dill,
Oh my god.
and that's it.
And it's not. Then
Yeah.
I
And it comes
eliminate.
out creamy?
Mm-hmm. It comes out creamy. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it comes out creamy.
Okay.
I mix that with the chickpeas. I add some green onions, um, and put it on the spelt bread. And the girls with avocado, and the girls love that. That's what they're having for lunch today.
Oh my god! I
Ooh.
need
So
to know
I'm
this
I'm
instantly. This is
yeah.
amazing. This is going to change my
I'm
life.
in this. I'm in this right now. I'm on a 40-day alkaline liquid fast right now, which we'll be putting up on our Patreon.
Ooh.
Yes, please.
And I'm doing that now to try to like eliminate my cravings for other foods, other vegan foods,
Like the
because I
processed food,
really am. Yeah,
like the
and I think I'm
Oreos.
a mini.
I'm just kidding.
So alkaline vegan is a whole thing. So I've been like diving into that this past year of COVID, just trying to make sure my family and I are like healthy, our immune system, since this is immune disease, like, okay, how can we boost our immune system?
I love
So
it.
that's what I'm in right now into. It's great.
I'm really excited. I'm
Shoot,
going
and it seems
to.
to be working.
Yeah. How are you feeling? Lose.
I feel good. I'm on day 3 right now. I'm just drinking juices. I made a garbanzo mushroom soup last night, which was pretty good. Yeah, it was really tasty. Actually, the girls were eating it. Um, and so I feel good. I feel good. I'm journaling. I'm doing breath work and meditation in the morning, and so I'm just like trying to get it together.
Cleanse.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Where do you live?
Yes, I love
Where
it.
are you located? I know.
I'm in Inglewood. I'm in Inglewood right now. I'm at my studio.
You'll have to come and
Come
show
by,
me all
girl.
these things. Yes. Okay.
Yes, and we have an alkaline restaurant down the street that I made homies with. He gives me mushrooms. So if you come out here, let me know. He'll
Oh
hook it
yeah.
up.
I love it.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, Rocky, I know we got to get out of here, but we want to know from you, what else do you have coming up with your businesses, your family life, personal life, all that stuff?
Okay. Businesses. I'm coming out with Doc on my whole IVF journey.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and
Nice.
I started with the rough cut, but that should be coming out. Hopefully, we'll get it into all the festivals. Dame Dash Studios relaunched. I have a children's book that's coming out, so I'm really
Oh,
excited
that's good.
about. It's about
Oh.
Dusko and his best friend Governor going to space and doing imaginary adventures together. I am working on a syllabus with some principles from 0 to 3 years. Um, and the
Hmm.
next thing I know, we were talking about food, but I don't know. Did you guys, I wanted to squeeze this in. Did you guys do baby led weaning or did you do pureed foods? I wanted to ask you.
I did pureed.
You did puree.
I did, yeah. I made his food. Yeah, my son was very like his teeth came in at like 4 months, and I was like, well, I mean, if your body is set, he was very quick. He started crawling like at 6 months. He almost was walking at 8, so it was like
6 months.
I know.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he was like crawling every. I don't know. It was just he was very, and I knew it was going to be like that because the teeth came in so soon, and you know, I was like, this is weird.
Well, what did you do?
But, yeah.
Did you start teaching this kid in the womb? Everything.
Right. Megan probably yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's the tiger mom in me, the tiger mom. No, but he, you know, but because of that, because I saw like, okay, well, developmentally, he seems to be moving along. So I'll just go ahead, instead of doing the baby-led weaning, I just went ahead and put him, started doing purees, I think at like 5 months, like 5.5 months.
And did he start feeding himself? Like,
oh my gosh, absolutely. He was like, give me that. Like immediately trying to take this. He just took it, and then he would try, you know, I'd let him play a little bit, and then of course I'd feed him with the second spoon. So yeah.
Oh, so you gave him one spoon and you kind of fed him. Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Marisa?
For my first child, I pureed all her foods because I was nervous about everything.
Yeah.
And she started feeding herself around 8 months, I want to say. She would start to grab. But the second one, oh no. I feel like this child eats. Like, she uses a spoon now. I think she started trying to eat on her own around 5 months. She was picking up things, and because my friends thought I was crazy. Like, she's gonna choke. I'm like, she's good. Like, I would smash it up a little bit, but she would eat on her own around 5 months. She was just eating, and now she eats like she's 35 years old. I mean,
she does.
This girl,
your baby she gets her own kids meal. Like, that's how much.
Like, literally. Well, she don't get no kids meal, but
no, the vegan version of the kids. No, she did. But at the vegan Asian spot we went to, she got her own kids meal. Remember?
Oh, she did. Oh,
she did it. She smashed
it. She did. She ate that whole thing. She was eating mushrooms.
She ate eating mushrooms. Edamame. Yeah. I was like, wow, this baby got her own plate. Yes, she ate more than the 3-year-old and more than my 2.5-year-old.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was how. And she was how old at that time?
She's 1. This was like 2 weeks ago. This was like 2 weeks ago.
Amazing.
But with vegan kids, I feel like they eat more. Like, I mean, it looks like they're eating more. They're really not, but they're constantly eating. I mean, these kids are constantly shoving down.
Maybe that's what Dusko is. He eats so much. Like, I'm still breastfeeding. I started with the purees because the doctor was like, at 4 months, there was like, you can start feeding him. And I was like, well, because I was like, I'm having a hard time feeding him with breast milk. Like, I'm dipping into my reserve. Like, what do I do? Like, she's like,
hungry.
you can start him with the food, but it still hasn't, I'm still dipping into the reserve. Like, I'm struggling to keep this kid fed. And he is, so today I started reading up on baby-led weaning. And so today I started was like, okay, I introduced like bananas on his plate. So he started trying, he has a hard time like actually holding them, like putting them and getting them into a place where he could put them in his mouth. So then he got to the point where he's like, he realized how good it felt smashing it in between his fingers. And then it just turned into goop because he was just like, yes. Goop. He was just grabbing it and just squishing it. But
try avocados.
Try avocados. That was his first smush food?
Avocados keep them full. Like,
he smushed them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that next.
I feel like it keeps them.
Yeah. And I will say this, because Mav used to do that with his avocados or anything that was smashable. So even with bananas, I got some chickpea panko breadcrumbs, and just it makes it easier to pick up for the slimier, squishier.
That's a good idea.
And he always had the chickpea, and you can get it at Sprouts. That's like, if you don't want to make it yourself, it's super easy to get.
I like that, Nick. That has a fun texture too.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Good job, Megan. And it's alkaline.
Panko. It is.
Yeah, it's chickpeas. Look at I love this. Thank you for these.
Well, before
I was wondering if he was going to be the only one, but he does try and put the spoon in his mouth. So I don't know, but I like the 2-spoon idea of him feeding himself with 1 spoon, and then you kind of giving him another spoonful with the other one.
Yeah. Because to be honest with you, when Mav was taking the spoon at like 6, when he had 5-6 months, he was holding the spoon. He didn't have the motor skills to actually like feed himself correctly. But to him, it was a fun game. And then when he realized he could hold it, he would always snatch it from me. So I was like, okay, well, basically I'm feeding you, you're playing. So, okay.
I love it.
All right. Before we get out of here, we have one final segment. What is it, Marisa?
It's called I'm Fine, our moment of inspiration. And so today, and it's still Mental Health Awareness Month. So, and for all these mommies and daddies out here listening, trying to get themselves together, their mind, their bodies, whatever that is, it's perfectly okay to admit you're not okay. So if you got a day where, you just don't feel like doing anything, you just want to go to the beach, you want to eat some fast food, whatever that is, it's okay not to be okay for a day and to take that time to just, reflect and get it back together the next day. So that's what I got today. It's from Anonymous, but it's perfectly okay to admit you're not okay. Some days we have those days.
That's true. Some days we have them. All right, you guys. It's been great taking a break with you. Thank you so much as well for joining us, Rocky.
Thank you.
Where can people follow you and learn more about you?
You can follow me on my Instagram is at Raquel M. Horn. And you can also check out my show on Damon Dash Studios, Health is Wealth. And you will see the 3rd season just came out. And look forward to my kids' book and to the documentary coming out soon.
Oh my God. Yeah, I cannot wait to see your documentary because your journey is so amazing. And I know a lot of people are going to be blessed by watching what you had to go through.
The outpour of support I had from just sharing my struggles and everything has been amazing, because I'm in the moment, you feel like you're the only one, but so many women have gone through, some sort of struggle throughout pregnancy, whether it was you get pregnant or during their pregnancy, there was some hardship, or afterwards, you never know. But like, being a woman is amazing. I love it.
It is.
We are goddesses. We create life.
We are. Boom. We create life. All right, y'all. I'm Megan Thomas at Meg Scoop everywhere. Make sure you guys hit up our Patreon page. Become a patron. You could do it for $3 or you could spend $1,000 on us. Whatever you want. Just support us. Okay, support us.
I'm Marisa Johnson. Make sure to follow me at She is Marisa J. Follow Mommy Needs a Break on all platforms at MNAB Podcast. And make sure to visit our website, like Megan said. And we will see you next week for more great episodes.